mirror enough to make a change. Having grown up bullied and abused both physically and mentally, by the time he graduated high school, he was, by his own admission, broken and weak. But instead of accepting that, he turned inward, stopped saying woe is me, and got to work becoming the man he wanted to be. To do that, he learned to embrace suffering and leverage pain as a way to toughen his mind. And the resulting man that he has become and his indomitable spirit has so inspired the world that he has become the one that the driven among us hang on their mirrors as a reminder of just how much is possible. As iconic NFL coach Pete Carroll said, "In my pursuit to understand and learn from the greatest competitor
operates like this. It's called fragile masculinity. Now, before you kick my ass, let me just say, that's not saying you're fragile, you're a big strong man, and I don't want any trouble. It's the structure of masculinity in our society that's fragile. In our culture, manhood is not something fixed that you get by virtue of being born with a dick between your legs. Instead, it's a status that you need to earn publicly, and that means it's also something you can lose. That makes our social idea of masculinity a continuous source of anxiety for many men, which, as we'll see, has serious repercussions. Now, just so you know that I'm not talking out of my unwiped manly ass, the theory... All right, we could use that. Is that too gross? This theory draws on decades of work in different
itself, it's not a disorder. There is something called narcissistic personality disorder, which is when a person is presenting with these various narcissistic patterns we've talked about: the low and variable empathy, the entitlement, the grandiosity, the arrogance, the envy, the admiration and validation seeking, that whole laundry list, the egocentricity, all the selfishness, all that stuff, right? So all of that is happening. It's chronic, it's pervasive, it shows up in their life in on a whole bunch of different relationships. The difference is they actually go to a therapist's office who's licensed and trained to issue a diagnosis. And that therapist determines, like, yep, I'm seeing these patterns, they're consistent, they're across situations, and they may assign them that diagnosis. The vast majority of people who have this personality style are never going to be in a practitioner's office who's going to make that determination. And it gets tricky, right? Because to call something a disorder,
asking myself because it's easier when perfect. I ask direct, and I know Christy, so yeah. But I was like, it's nicer when I told my team too, I was like, it's so much nicer when there's like a personal connection,
for sure,
and someone really feels comfortable rather than it's like a PR thing.
No, it was so perfect. Like when I think back to it, I'm like, that was me just trusting the universe and not pushing for anything, and I knew it was going to kind of happen when it was supposed to, and it literally did.
And it did,
so
yeah.
You felt it too.
Yeah, I did. That means a lot to me. Yeah, right. and I hope that this is the start of spending more time together. Genuinely.
Me too.
Yeah, off camera too.
I would love that, because like I think also, I don't know, like I admire people like you. I admire, like, you know, the Michael Pollans and Michael Singers and Wim Hofs of the world. And I feel like you fit in that category for me of just people that are, because, you know, I know a little bit about your story. I'd like to actually know more, which would be really cool to actually, I know we're obviously not here for that exactly. But for me, just personally, like I'd love to know more of your story. I know that
to say thank you first and foremost for being part of this community. The team here at the Diver CEO is now almost 30 people, and that's literally because you watch and you subscribe and you leave comments and you like the videos. That this show's been able to grow, and it's the greatest honor of my life to sit here with these incredible people and just selfishly ask them questions that I'm pondering over or worrying about in my life. But this is just the beginning for the Diver CEO. We've got big plans to scale this show to every corner of the world and to diversify our guest selection, and that's enabled by you, by a simple thing that you guys do, which is to watch. So if there's one thing you could do to help this show and to help us continue to do what we do, it's just to hit the subscribe button. If you like this show, if you like what we do here, if you watch these episodes, please just hit that subscribe button. It means the world. Let's get on with it. What do I need to know about you and your earliest years to...
Like, you can't trust them. So when you see hands, open hands, I'm no threat. And then there's communication skills, manipulation, tactics, and a strategy to make good decisions. And I will go through them. But the two most important things are...
To my regular listeners, I know you don't like it when I ask you to subscribe at the start of these conversations. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in there. None of us like it. It's frustrating. Do you know what's also frustrating? It's also frustrating when I go into the back end of a YouTube channel and I see that 56% of you that listen frequently to this podcast haven't yet subscribed. And so many of you don't even know that you haven't subscribed, because I see in the comment section, you say to me, you go, I didn't even realize I didn't subscribe. And that actually fuels the show. It's basically like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. So all I'd ask you is, if you've seen this show before and you like it, help me, help my team here, hit the subscribe button, and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all of you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. Let's get on with the show.
What I even wanted to say about this. So what I'm talking about in general is just not having secure attachment really in your romantic relationship. I think that can change, you know, depending on the relationship you're talking about and depending on the person you're with. But for the little background and context, I was in a long-term 6-year relationship that, you know, was complicated, as almost all relationships are. And then about 2 years later, I entered into a relationship with my now boyfriend, Justin, who's a wonderful person. And almost as soon as we started dating, I became overwhelmed with anxiety. I would say I identified that I had like very anxious attachment.
Tools to cultivate a state of calm and confidence no matter what life throws your way. So let's embark on this transformative journey together and discover how the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can help you achieve unshakable tranquility and true happiness. If you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button and don't skip any part of the video. Principle number 1, firm purposes. Imagine setting sail on a vast ocean without a clear destination. You'd drift aimlessly, subject to every shift in the wind and wave. That's what life feels like without a firm purpose, directionless and vulnerable to external forces. Epictetus emphasized the importance of having clear, firm purposes. He said, difficulties show a person's character, and the greater the difficulty, the more glory.
That's just an effect of patriarchy.
I agree.
We're not like losing our bodily autonomy. We're not, you know, fearing for our lives, walking down a dark hallway, you know. So I don't think they're comparable.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you look at most of the world's leaders are men, most judges are men. Look at even our Supreme Court, there's 9 judges and how many are women? You know, it's the fact that women had to fight and ask to, in 1974, get access to have their own bank account. Like, that's absurd. That's absurd that, you know, just because there's a little clause in the Constitution that says all men being equal, they're going to play dumb and act like that means just men. It doesn't mean human. And for women to have to fight for anything to be equal to a man is just...
It's ridiculous.
It proves that men have their right. They're the ones that set the rights. They're the ones that, if that's most of our Senate, our House, our Congress, everybody, they're the ones that vote over the laws and things that get passed. They have the rights, and they're the ones that dish them out to everybody else, and you're lucky if you can get them.